it's fair to say that the one country, two systems approach, which was a unique thing at the time, has actually worked pretty well for Hong Kong over the last 20 or 22 years or so. However, over the last 2 or 3 years, I think there is a growing sense amongst many people that perhaps the the two country systems, the two systems are eroding somewhat. But however, I think that the focus on Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area is likely to lead to a very robust economy over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, and Hong Kong will be a big beneficiary of that policy directive.
Yeah, while you're speaking there, Peter, we're looking at live pictures from the Hong Kong Convention Centre and the second tier of officials of Hong Kong now being sworn into their office for the next 5-year term. But, let's talk a little bit more about the point that you just made, the one country, two systems setup. This has been a very contentious arrangement that was made. It was never particularly clear. It was never particularly well articulated, and it was certainly interpreted in very different ways from the two sides. But it's kind of interesting to consider the system as an experiment in itself, isn't it? And for a while, it did seem to allow some interesting possibilities in terms of governance, in terms of business relationships, and things like that. As you say, it has sort of been knocked off track by various things over the past few years. COVID is one of them, the protests and that movement being another. But as a general, just give me a little bit more economic perspective on, as a general governance system, how it's worked out for Hong Kong and the people of Hong Kong.
It's actually worked very well for the people of Hong Kong. As we've seen, Hong Kong maintains an independent currency. It has complete freedom of capital controls, a low tax regime. All of that has been very, very useful for Hong Kong's economic well-being and for the well-being of its citizens over the last 20, 25 years. Most essential to this whole system, of course, is the concept of the rule of law and the contract rule of law, which affects all business which is done through Hong Kong into China. Hong Kong still acts as the conduit of capital, ideas, technology, expertise into China, and also the conduit for expertise and capital out of China. Increasingly, China is having to invest or looking to invest its savings and of its people and of its government through into the wider world. And Hong Kong is the channel by which that happens. So I think Hong Kong is going to continue to play that role.